Days Gone zombies. They are called freakers, humans and animals, wrapped by an engineered prion virus that first swept the Pacific Northwest and then the world. Unlike classic corpses, freakers are alive. They breed, bleed, heal minor wounds, and even hibernate in frigid weather. The virus hyper-accelerates metabolism and aggression while sharply lowering pain sensitivity, creating pack-hunting predators that can sprint, climb, and leap across broken terrain as fast as any healthy adult. And because the pathogen thrives in warmth and moisture, freakers roost in dark, humid nests by day and pour out in terrifying numbers after sunset. The infection reshapes hosts, along whatever physiological lines best serve the horde. Swarmers are the wiry baseline, attacking in dozens or merging into hordes, rolling crowds hundreds strong that migrate along set feeding routes and can topple fences or buses through sheer weight. Newts. They are infected children, skitter across rooftops, and only pounce when victims are wounded, leveraging their small size for ambushes. And there are breakers, balloon with muscle mass and bone density, turning into 2-meter battering rams that shrug off assault rifle fire, while screamers evolve an oversized larynx that unleashes a sonic wail capable of stunning prey and summoning every freaker within earshot. Wildlife isn't spared either. There are virus-ridden wolves, called runners, and bears called ragers that add feral speed and brute force to the ecosystem's collapse. The freakers feed, rest, and migrate like real animals, which means the threat landscape changes by hour and by season. Human factions such as neuroscientists hint that the virus is still evolving, as later-stage freakers show coordinated pack tactics and rudimentary tool use, suggesting intelligence could be on the rise. The zombies from Plant vs. Zombies. The undead here work less like a virus and more like an organized marching band of ghouls. At their simplest, you have the shambling basic zombie. Slow, single-lane intruders who spend their brain hunger mostly face planting into walnuts. But PopCap's design twist is that each upgrade in zombie wardrobe equals a jump in durability or gimmick. Don a traffic cone and you're a conehead zombie with triple health. Swap for a bucket and you're practically wearing a medieval helm. From there the roster gets absurdly specialized. Screen door zombies carry riot shields that block P-shots until a fume shroom's gas corrodes them, ladder zombies neutralize your plant wall by literally climbing over it, and balloon zombies float above every projectile until a cactus or blower pops their ride. Night stages introduce Gravebuster, guarded tombstones that spawn surprise undead in your backline, while pool levels add dolphin rider zombies that leap over lily pads and torpedo your squash traps. Roof stages pitch the angles steep enough that only lobbers like Kabash bolts can clear them. Just as bungee zombies rappel from above to kidnap a beloved repeater you forgot to umbrella protect. At the top of the food chain looms the Gargantuar, screen-filling brute that soaks entire volleys before smashing plants and hurling a smashing imp over your last defenses. And of course Dr. Zombos, the mad mastermind in a Zombot mech, arrives with fireballs, ice balls, and a wrecking crane in a finale that mashes every prior mechanic into one frenetic boss fight. And what makes these zombies deadly isn't speed or gore, but synergy. A balloon scout distracts your air defense, letting a digger zombie tunnel under a true sunflowers from the rear, while a football zombie blitzes up front behind a screen door phalanx. Success in PvZ is therefore a constant calculus of sun economy, recharge timers, and lane-specific counters. Miss one rhythm and misjudge which quirky corpse is lurking next, and those goofy groans quickly crescendo into the zombies ate your brain's game over text. The Sadness Zombies. In the Taiwanese shock horror movie, the undead archetype is replaced by victims of the Alvan virus, a once benign flu that suddenly mutates. The new strain links the brain's aggression and libido centers, flipping every ethical switch to off. Incubation is almost instant. One droplet of blood or saliva, and eventually airborne particles, can turn a commuter into a smiling butcher within seconds, and white eyes with weeping black tears announce the change. But the real horror is this: the infected stay fully aware of their atrocities, even expressing grief as they laugh and murder. Once flipped, the bloodthirsty sadists unleash fantasies straight out of humanity's ID. They speak, reason, use weapons, and coordinate attacks, but every choice is steered toward maximum cruelty. A virologist in the film likens the compulsion to resisting a blink, and that urge builds until violence becomes inevitable. Containment proves futile, soldiers, police, and even the president of Taiwan succumb on live television, turning state response into free-fire bedlam. Every fresh massacre sprays viral fluid onto bystanders, and failed quarantines merely bottle victims with new sadists who now mock them over loudspeakers. There's no cure in sight, and the pathogen's rapid evolution implies an imminent, global-scale pandemonium, a world where every remaining human faces an enemy that can sprint, scheme, and worst of all, enjoy every second of the carnage it creates. Black Lantern Corps. They are Necron's army of the dead, reanimated heroes, villains, and civilians whose sole purpose is to snuff out all life and plunge the universe into absolute darkness. Black power rings burrow into corpses and reboot their nervous systems, but they don't restore the original souls. Instead, each body becomes a meat puppet driven by Necron's will. The rings translate residual memories and personalities into psychological weapons. When a Black Lantern closed out a victim's heart, the ring converts the bioelectric charge of that sudden feeling into raw energy, reflected as a color flash. Enough harvested hearts power a black battery capable of anchoring Necron in the material plane. The corp's tactical edge is twofold. First, their bodies regenerate from almost any damage unless severed from the ring. And second, conventional lantern constructs pass right through them because the dead sit outside the living emotional spectrum. During the Blackest Night event, rings descend on heroes' graves, resurrecting fallen icons like Martian Manhunter, Aquaman, and even Batman's cloned corpse, provoking their former allies in brutal mind games. Entire planets fall quiet as black rings sweep cemeteries, building an exponential army that threatens the multiverse. Project Zomboid Zombies. The undead aren't cosmic horrors or lab-bred mutants. They are depressingly ordinary people whose slow, inevitable advance mirrors the game's core promise. This is how you died. The virus underlying the outbreak is never fully explained, only that a bite, or less commonly a deep scratch, carries a 100% fatal infection that kills within a day or two before reanimating the victim. Once turned, zombies shuffle with stiff, Ramirez-style gait, but their threat scales with context. They form huge hordes in towns, linger as lone wanderers on back roads, and cascade toward any loud noise like alarms, gunshots, or even a clattering cooking pan. A single zombie is manageable, yet numbers escalate brutally. Smashed windows lure in straggles, panicked gunfire snowballs into a migration horde that can blanket a neighborhood, and because zombies have no stamina limit, they'll pound on doors for hours, eventually breaking through if you don't reinforce with planks or metal sheets. Line of sight matters, duck behind fences or crouch in tall grass and they'll lose track. But get cornered in a tight hallway, and even a 3-zombie scrum can become lethal due to grab mechanics that pin you while others bite. What sets Project Zomboid apart is its sandbox mutability. Lore presets let you toggle shamblers, fast shamblers, or sprinters, adjust infection mortality from instant to weeks, and even turn bites non-lethal for a survivor's guilt experience. Late-game decay mechanics make surviving months feel different than day one. Zombies clothe in tatters, reducing bite protection, their flesh rots, slightly lowering vision, and winter drives them into buildings, creating indoor death traps just when food stocks are running low. Modders add variants, crawler heavy worlds, night vision Zeds, snow-shrouded sprinters, so each run can pivot, from slow burn survival sim to pulse-pounding chase thriller. But no matter the settings, the design philosophy stays grimly constant. The zombies don't scale to you, you scale to them. Half-Life Alyx Zombies. The zombies you encounter are living humans and vortigonts whose bodies have been overtaken by parasitic headcrabs, starfish-shaped aliens that latch onto a host's skull, pierce the brainstem, and hijack the nervous system. The host is kept technically alive but loses all autonomy, shambling with broken kinematics, while the headcrab's probing legs jut through torn clothing. And because the parasite also excretes a neurotoxin that numbs pain and stiffens muscles, the resulting creature can keep moving after taking revolver rounds or losing entire limbs. Alyx introduces 3 major headcrab species, each creating a distinct flavor of corpse puppet. Standard headcrabs are pale and fleshy. The zombies they make can sprint short bursts and will claw and bite if you get too close. Armored heavy headcrabs grow shells that deflect pistol fire. Their zombies shuffle slower but soak up ammo unless you exploit weak spots under the shell. Most dreaded are poison headcrabs, inky black with twitching spines. When one of these attaches, the zombie's chest cavity descends into a purple toxin sac. Later chapters add lightning dogs or revivers, electrified headcrabs that animate corpses into crackling, franken zombies, turning dark subway cars into strobe lit traps that punish sloppy flashlight work. Maze Runner Zombies. In this universe, the zombies are called cranks, humans infected by man-made flare virus that WCKD released after catastrophic solar flares destabilized the world economy. The pathogen attacks the brain's temporal and frontal lobes, sharpening aggression and gnawing away at impulse control. In the early stage 1 and 2 window, victims still look normal and can pass for healthy, which lets the disease spread through blood, saliva, and contaminated water. By stage 3, the cortex has begun to rot, skin lesions visions darken, eyes film over, and speech devolves into snarls punctuated by lucid flashes of grief. Once the infection crosses the blood-brain barrier completely, in stage 4 and 5, a person becomes a full crank. They are not undead, heart and lungs still function, but pain perception plummets while adrenaline surges, granting sprint speed and the strength to tear through steel grates or punch masonry. Their bodies desiccate under fever, giving them the skeletal, veiny appearance seen in the Scorched Trials film. Cranks hunt by sound and motion, swarming prey in packs that flow over ruined cars and fallen freeway columns, and because they don't decay like corpses, a single city can sustain tens of thousands of them for years. And what makes the Flare apocalypse uniquely grim is its graduated timeline. Early stage victims retain reason long enough to feel their sanity peeling away, a torment WCKD exploits by harvesting enzyme-rich blood from the immunes, but each draw only slows, but never reverses, the neural burn, with fewer than 1% of humanity immune and the remaining population either dying of exposure or devolving into cranks. The Flare creates a world where survivors must choose between ruthless containment measures and ethically fraught research on children, because every hour wasted on conscience is another hour the virus etches into someone's frontal lobe, speeding their march toward the shrieking, hyper-violent hordes that now rule the Scorch. I Am Legend Zombies. The apocalypse in I Am Legend begins not with a bite but with medicine gone wrong. Dr. Alyx Crippen's genetically re-engineered measles virus, designed to cure cancer, mutates and drips through humanity. Roughly 90% of the world's population die outright, and most of the rest become dark seekers, the film's infected, while a tiny fraction, people like Robert Neville, possess natural immunity. Contagion is near instant by blood or saliva, and within weeks, the social order of every major city implodes, leaving silent streets stalked by supercharged predators that only emerge after sunset. Physiologically, dark seekers are alive, but fundamentally altered. The virus turbo boosts the metabolism and adrenal response, granting them sprint speed, wall-crawling agility, and the strength to hurl bodies across rooms. They hibernate in dark hives, venturing out only when UV levels drop. Autopsies in Neville's basement lab show enlarged adrenal glands and a collapsed immune system that nevertheless regenerates damaged tissue far faster than an uninfected human's, and just one scratch can transmit enough viral load to convert a victim within hours. Early in the film they appear feral, but they quickly display pack strategy, mimicking Neville's snare trap, organizing rescue raids, and in the director's cut ending, revealing social bonds strong enough to risk a coordinated assault on Neville's fortified brownstone. In the original novel, the creatures are closer to sentient vampires who can speak, use tools, and build a new society, recasting Neville as the monster of their legends. So whether you treat them as vampires or ultra-fast zombies, the calculus is the same. Once the Crippen virus finds a population center, its combination of hypervirulence, superhuman hosts, and latent cunning makes containment nearly impossible and recovery a race against the extinction of uninfected humanity.